Ma, Lord Ma. Lord Ma, Lord Ma, Lord Ma, Lord Ma, Lord Ma. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening. Hello, everyone. Welcome to Atomic Mass Transmissions Live, as in alive and well. Thanks for asking. Today we're painting up Lord Maul from Shatterpoint, the long-awaited Lord Maul from Shatterpoint. I'm so excited for this. I am just ecstatic, bubbling with joy and excitement because, holy cow, I love this miniature. And we're gonna have fun. We're gonna paint some face tattoos. We're gonna paint a lightsaber. And then I don't know what color his cloth is going to be, but I want to focus on the face. I want to focus on those tattoos. I want to focus on that lightsaber, and then whatever happens, happens. So let's kick it to the paint. Let's kick it over here. Let's get painting. We have an hour. I need your questions. We need to hang out. We need to do some hobby because it's hobby summer. It binds us all together. It's the glue that brings us all together. Oh boy, here we go. So the very first thing you can see, I painted a Zenithal Prime. This is not 100% necessary by any stretch of the imagination. I just personally like it because it shows me sort of the volume of the miniature. It shows me a little bit of sort of like where the shadows fall. And you can change the direction of the zenith, obviously. But I chose the top down for this. But the very first thing I want to do is, what's Summer doing? Do you want me to do this?
Oh, no, they have like a computer.
Can we do that? Okay.
I'll see why not, right?
Lord Ma. Oh, that's my noggin. Look at my nog, look at my noggin, look at my noggin. So the very first thing I want to do is I want to take a little blue. Friends of the stream will know I'm about to use Hold Your Blue. Hold Your Blue is a wonderful little color from Scale 75. And I'm going to do the noggin here with this blue. And I don't have to be precise right now. I just want a little bit of undertone. So when we go to do the black, I have a little color in there. I don't like just black. I want some what I call chromatic black. Just gives the miniature some nice more pop and zazz. This doesn't have to be perfect. As I said, this is sort of an undercolor. There's a line there. That line is okay. We're going to actually utilize that line. It's a seam line, but I did not cover. But we can actually utilize it. We're going to use this blue and then we're going to do a black wash to turn it all black. But that will give us some undertones. Can I ask how one goes up the stance tree? Do you have to go in one line or can you go forward and then up another? You just follow the line. You pick a starting point. If there's two starting points, you pick which one. There's one starting point, you have to start there, and you just follow the line. If you get to a branch, you choose up or down. And then you have to just follow the next line. Each box connects to a line. You can't go backwards. You don't get to wrap around at the end. Additional successes are lost. Lines are hard, yeah. They're tough. I don't think we're ready to start talking about what sort of OP. I'm sure all that will be coming in the future. Information, or what we like to call transmissions. So I'm going to do a little brown on the pants here. We usually like to reveal information, you know, as we go along in an order and process, you know. There's a whole marketing plan with a team. There's a team behind the scenes working really hard, creating a plan. And if I just get on here and start rattling stuff off, like, yeah, I'm just going to come on every stream and just talk about everything, and then Summer's got nothing to do. We want to keep Summer busy. Summer, BK, Ann, Justice, Liz. Did I miss anybody? I don't think I missed anybody, did I? Little washy wash version of the brown over top. Once again, we're going to use a bunch of different colors to establish volume. My hand's probably totally in the way there, but you're seeing a thin layer of brown paint on. Yeah, you're correct. This lightsaber is, look at that lightsaber. Straight as a board. Okay, if my blue is dry, which it seems to be, it is. I'm gonna make a black wash. This is black paint with some little medium in there. Keep Summer safe. We're gonna start doing a little black wash over the skin bits. Skin bits. That sounds like something you buy at a package at a gas station for a long road trip, doesn't it? Skin bits. Chipotle flavored skin bits. How do unique unit roles interact with characters who change identity like in it? All that stuff will be revealed on how identities work and all that stuff. That's all coming. Don't worry. We got you. You know, maybe you're waiting for all that information before you pre-order. That's cool. You don't got pre-order yet. Wait till you get all the information you want. Everybody's got time to discover the Shatterpoint and look at it for what it is and what they're looking for and make that decision, and that's cool. We're down. So see, this is like a little blue black, and I like it. I like it. Yeah, I'm going to paint all the black before the red. I'm going to do all the black, and then I'm going to paint the red in. There's a reason I like to do this. The red is inset on the face and raised on the torso. There's a reason for that. It's all technical garble. But it was just easier to do on the face for the amount of detail in such a small area that we have to achieve. It just made more sense to go inset And for the torso, it just made more sense to go raised. We're going to get rid of some of that wash real quick because I don't need it all. And we're just going to reinforce the black. I want to get that black built in. Let's do work on our lightsaber as well. Can you see that? Let's go to our off-white. There was a question about reds and blues and human skin tones. Can we go back what that is? And then Surfside, I want to talk to Surfside as well, but no, not skin bits. It was a question about color temperature and I missed it.
Yeah, what kind of things can you suggest to help improve or remove color temperature? You've talked a bit in previous streams about reds in human skin tone, but how could you apply this to other aspects of the mini?
So color temperature across the mini is a way to create contrast. Contrast is king when you're painting miniatures. It rules all. So one of the ways to utilize temperature across your miniature is to like do your metals with a cool tone, do your cloth with a warm tone. You can do one side of the miniature in warm tones and the other side in cool tone to kind of create like some kind of fake object source lighting sort of idea. So it's really just all about creating all the different contrasts and playing with those contrasts across the miniature. What's the idea of using a wash versus using regular paint consistency? Wash is a technique, not a thing. So you can make any paint into a wash. This is why I personally like thick paint because I can always thin paint, but I can't thick paint. Does that make sense? Does everybody understand that? So if I start with a very thick paint, I can thin it down, make it a wash. The reason I did a wash is because I want it to recede a little bit and let a little bit of that blue shine through on the skin tone. Because I want that little bit of coolness. That coolness is we're going right back into crisp Axeman's question is like the cool blue is going to work against that warm red to create better contrast visually. So I want that blue undertone to shine through. Now I'm going to remove some of that as we paint it. I'm going to add more black and I'm going to reestablish the blackness of it. But I want that little bit of blue, so I'm going to start with a wash there. And we're going to use washes and inks today, a whole bunch. Yeah, this is not Maul with the Darksaber. So our lightsaber is going to be red. I did a base coat with an off-white. This is a very yellow off-white. It's barely yellow. You gotta really see it in real life. But it's just a warm off-white. And now I'm gonna paint it the warmest, brightest orange I can. But Dallas, the lightsaber is gonna be red. You're correct. But the more punchy colors I slide on the underside, the better red I'm gonna get. Once again, this is building up all that color to create a more intense color. Something I noticed when we were at Adepticon, I was looking at a bunch of Legion miniatures, and I noticed people putting shades on the bottom sides of their lightsabers. And that's your lightsaber. You can do whatever you want. Me personally, I'm philosophically against that because there would not be a shadow on the bottom side of a lightsaber. So I want my lightsabers to be super punchy and super intense. So I'm going to avoid all shadow. This is the start of our red lightsaber. What inspired the character choices for the core set? Ah, that's a good question. I think there was just a lot of discussion over what would be fun to work on, and it kind of all starts with Maul and Ahsoka, right, to some extent. So, and then you build around that. You got to have Anakin, right? You can't not do Anakin. And just really focusing around what we thought would be really cool and interesting. I mean, we can go for hours on that one. So we're gonna reinforce a little highlight. And the patented Dallas Scritches technique. Is it patented? I don't think it is actually. Tony, do we have the painted Maul, or Summer, do you know if the painted Maul is in there? Maybe if we can get to Red OSL, we'll do Red OSL. Let's see how far we get here. So I'm going to go back in with regular black paint. And I'm going to work. Tony's on his way.
I feel like I heard the door slam. There he is.
Tony Konachek, you're my hero. That was painting tutorial for the Shatterpoint, Din Djarin, and Grogu. There was no Shatterpoint, Din Djarin, and Grogu. That was the Legion ones. At Adepticon. And I'm.
It's possible Maul is at Star Wars Celebration.
No.
Nope.
Oh, he is. Oh, that's going to be tricky. I think I did paint a Grogu on stream, didn't I? Didn't I? A Legion Grogu on stream? I feel like I did. Okay, reinforcing that black one more time. His tattoos get a bit tricky without reference. I like reference. So I don't have the reference. Our studio painted Lord Maul is traveling to Star Wars Celebration. So we're gonna do the best we can. Rule stuff, yeah. You're in the wrong stream, my friend. Okay, let's do a little black on that hand. What character has been the most fun in Shatterpoint to paint? So far, of what I have painted, I would say General Grievous. 100%. just pure black between the fingers. Maybe kick a shadow, pure black over here. Like I said, I'm just trying to reinforce that skin. Back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. Typically, how many parts are the Shatterpoint minis? And or is the bigger mini easy, harder, same part to tool? So parting and tooling is a very complex process. I don't think we have an average like this is how many parts. Because the number of parts is determined by the character more than by us, right? The characters have needs, you know. The way Maul is sort of defines that his head has to be in 2 parts, right? I could make a 1-part head Maul, and you as a Star Wars aficionado would be like, well, his head doesn't look right. And I'd be like, yes, you're right, but I made it 1 part. So there's concessions to be made for making sure that the likeness or the character is captured. So I don't know if I have like this is how many parts on average. I'd have to go back and do a whole bunch of figuring on that. For an arm, 1 or 4? Have we ever done a 4-part arm? Like, I'm not sure where the questions come from there, Bob. We typically do arms in 1 piece. Things like War Machine. War Machine's in 30 parts. Why? Because he had to be. Like, it just had to be. All right, start doing some tattoos. Off-white is where we're starting. You know, my head will be where it wants to be. Was it an engineering decision that arm shield on Saxon not have the pattern sculpt? I thought it was sculpting in. Well, I think it's very rare that something has a 2-part bicep and a 2-part forearm. Big things have that because of the way plastic flows. And if the part is super thick, I can't have it be a single part. Yeah, those big things, it's a size. It's purely just the size. You can't have it's the way plastic flows. Like we gotta work with the material. The material has demands. The character has demands. These are not just arbitrary like, lol, let's do this. This is like, okay, well the plastic doesn't flow unless you cut this in half. I always get confused around his mouth. Yeah, Mr. Rich, you're right. If the piece is really large and you don't cut it, you get sinkage, which is like little pit holes in the plastic. So like you gotta cut it up. It's all, you know, every material that miniatures are made of all work different. So you can't even compare like, well, this miniature is only in 2 parts. Well, yeah, it's soft plastic. It has different variables. This miniature's, you know, like this. Well, yeah, the design of that allows for that to happen. So all these factors are being, you know, looked at and determined when we're looking at our miniatures and trying to figure it out. Did I do that backwards? No, I did not. If you drop something and it breaks, I'm curious, what glue are you using? It's going to be my first question every time. And if you don't answer plastic glue, I'm going to be like, why? If you're building your miniatures with plastic glue, I gotta get a little more light on this. I painted it too black. If you're not using plastic glue, you're gonna struggle with breakage more. Plastic glue literally welds the parts together, like literally welds the parts together to make a single part that should not break. I won't say will not. That's a ridiculous phrase. So all we're doing is gently getting this off-white in here. Yeah, I also recommend taking pieces off the frames one by one. I'm always kind of astounded when I hear somebody like clips all the parts out and then assembles. It's like, that's how you lose parts. Clip it out one by one. Part A, part B, glue them together. Clip out part C, glue that on. Dry fit everything. So I'm getting a little messy, but that's okay. Plastic glue cement does not equal super glue. Correct. Size 1, round. Okay, I think that's pretty good. I think it'll get us what we want. Let's go back to our lightsaber. So now I've got this like bright orange on. I'm gonna mix a little off-white and orange together. I know my viewing angle is like this because that's the way Maul is holding his saber. I don't want to do my scratches. Just create like a highlight line here. Right across. You want that to be as thin as possible. Just straight across the center. Right at that preferred viewing angle. Going to kick up the white just a touch. The face paint is sculpted on the Maul, yes. Start here at the emitter. I'm just tapping with the brush. Then I'm going to do a point. Yeah, anytime we can sculpt something on, we will. There are limits to what we can sculpt on, and sometimes it's just a limit of like what's actually going to read and look cool. Given size restrictions, design restrictions. So we'll always try to be. Ahsoka's tattoos are sculpted on as well. So I like to work from the emitter out and the tip down. And I like it more intense at the emitter and the tip than in the center. In the center I like a nice line. And then toward the tip and the emitter I like little scritches. Crab droids win. Oh, I do love crab droids. And kick it up one more time. Just the tiniest dots. Just using the tip of that brush. The paint wants to do its job. Let's do its job. You're not in a rush here. We're going to do the best we can today. And maybe it's not as good as tomorrow. Maybe it's better tomorrow. Who knows? Okay, let's go back to Maul. Same thing, second burst, same as the first. We're going to take a little orange. And we're going to put that into the skin tattoos. Once again, it's a little messy. We'll clean it all up. Sometimes when you're painting miniatures, as I like to say, it's the fine art of correcting one's mistakes. Did we have questions about the helmetless option? What's the questions? What's the questions about helmet and helmetless options? I gotta say, Summer, like keeping the secret of Shatterpoint for 3 years and finally just having a paint stream where I get to paint one and just chat about. Oh, you're doing it.
It's that like sigh of relief. Finally.
3 years of my life.
Yeah.
3 years of my life. can't remember if he has. Does he have red along the bridge of his nose? I cannot remember.
Chat will know.
I'm about to bring up the studio manager on my phone.
Yeah, he's got some red on there. His nostrils are a little bit upper black.
Is it his nostrils?
His nostrils are black. Oh, you did it backwards.
Did I do it backwards?
Possibly?
No, did I really? This is my Maul, and I'll paint him how I want. Trust me, he's not going to be yellow when we're done. What were we talking about? I remember saying fine art of correcting one's mistakes. Define and refine. Helmets. Yeah, there's some characters will have helmets, some characters won't. It's all just, sometimes it's just the way it is. Sometimes it's just the way it is. It's when we can, when we can't, we can't. I need to bring up Shatterpoint Maul. I'm gonna have to Google Shatterpoint Maul. Cause I don't have him. And I don't have my laptop.
He's on our social. We posted a photo of him today with his article.
This
Or
is
it's in our wallpaper.
he's on the wallpaper. I need the miniature. Images. I'm literally just, I need to look at, I can't remember how those little face tattoos. Oh, can you turn up the value of that?
Yep,
The lights?
sorry. No lightsaber on my thing.
I'm old. Oh my gosh, thank you. Huh. Great. Oh, I would bet there's a gameplay coming. Just open the article he posted. I didn't post it, Wildstar. I don't go on social media very often. I really don't. Yeah, right now it looks a little Savazo Press. That's because we want that intense. I want my red to be super intense, and I'm going to use that yellow to establish that is super intense red. That's how we do. Huh? Yeah. Huh? I like having reference, and I forgot that our reference is literally going to Star Wars Celebration right now. Our grand journey. Our Lord Maul is going on. Look at that. Alright, back to the lightsaber. Time for the reds. We got some red ink. Oh, you know what? I'm going to do a little orange ink. A little touch of orange ink. I have like a really, really bright orange ink. I use a lot of like artist inks. I'm going to put a dash of red in there. Inks are different than washes. Does everybody know the difference between an ink and a wash? And does everybody know what a wash is? Bonus points if anybody can say my words back to me about washes. Also remember, this is just how I paint all this stuff. You can paint it how you want to paint it. That's all I can do on that, just ink and red. I'm gonna add a little bit more red now. I'm gonna keep some of that orange in there. I like that orange. It's real nice. It's real nice. A wash is a technique, not a paint. Big bad Andy, what? Washes are a technique, not a thing. Anything can be a wash. It's how you apply it. You're just letting it flow into the crevices, letting it recede from the surface. That's what a wash is. Inks are like super pigmented paints. I mean, just super pigmented. They're very thin. They're very punchy. They have so much pigment. I think that they're probably one of the most undervalued tools in the mini painting world. It's always wild when I see a painter not using inks. They're just so versatile. Like, I use them to make good. I do mainly true metallic metals. And it's one of the ways I get like my true metallic metals to look so punchy and poppy and rich. Because you just get a better true metallic metal if you paint it with non-metallic metal philosophies and then add a little ink. Leathers, like mixing a little ink in when you're doing your leather or your, I am saying leather, sorry, I have a brush in my mouth, my second brush. Raw Star, I'm someone with very limited painting experience. You know what? Welcome. That's why we're here. We're here to help out. What are some tips for keeping my brushes from curling, splitting, and fraying? The first thing I'm going to say is something that no one likes to hear me say. Brushes are not forever friends. You're going to go through brushes and you're going to abuse them. And that's okay. To keep from abusing them, though, or to keep them around longer, do you know the parts of your brush? That's the first question. So this is the tip. That's the belly. That's the ferrule. The tip is super important. You want a small, tight tip. That gives you all your brush control. I paint with just the tip of my brush. And then when I do base coats, I abuse it. That's terrible. The belly, I like a brush with a big old belly. The reason being, the belly holds the paint. So nice thin paint gets held in there and I just get to go longer. So those little like micro, extreme, ultra, like 2-hair brush, like the paint just dries out too quick for me. So I prefer a big belly brush with a nice tight tip. That lets me do all my freehand, all my eyes. I can use a good size 2 or 3 to paint eyes if you have a good tight tip and a good big belly. To keep your brushes from curling, splitting, and fraying, don't get paint in the ferrule. I have a separate brush over here that has like a little blue tape on the end. I know if I grab Mr. Blue Tape, I just smash this brush down into the paint. And this is how I get paint out of the pot. I don't paint out of the pot. I put my paint on a palette, either a dry palette or a wet palette. That's the trash brush. Yeah, there's also the scrubby brush, which I don't have, which is just a brush chopped down to clean up mistakes. Someday I should do a whole discussion about just brushes. Summer. Yeah. So the big thing there is really just making sure you're not smashing the brush into the smashing paint into the ferrule of the brush. So right now this is pretty glossy, and that's okay. I'm going to remove the gloss later with a little dull coat. We can speed this process up actually with a little rojo. Maybe. We're running out of time, and I just haven't finished the lightsaber or the face, Summer.
Well, we're gonna go to 205 today.
I don't have a meeting.
You got 205, sir.
Oh, here we go. Here we go. I mean, I don't have a meeting. Now, see how that red is super intense because of those oranges underneath? That's what I wanted. And once I start cleaning this up with black paint, it's going to look super good. You're super welcome for the tips and tricks. That's why we're here. I believe painting is a communal endeavor, and helping people out is super important, right? There's so many people getting into the hobby, and everybody should feel empowered and welcome. And you know, we want to do our part in that. We're just as much part of the community as anybody else. We're all gamers here at Atomic Mass Games and hang out and paint and do fun stuff. So we want to make sure that you have the tools you need to succeed in whatever your painting dreams are. Whether they're like, I just want to paint tabletop, or I want to be the best painter in the world and win the Worthy, or I want to be a studio painter and come and, you know, be a studio painter. Hopefully we can help you be inspired to reach those goals. That's my goal. My goal is your goals. I tell Josh that all the time. I'm like, Josh, my goal is just your goals. Just if you succeed, then I succeed. Lord Maul, Lord Maul. Always learning. That's what I'm doing. Always learning. Pushing, growing, adapting, changing. My painting dream was in a samurai assage. Oh, please share. L. All right, we're gonna move back to the lightsaber. Time to make it red, finally. This is that same red ink with a little touch of orange ink. And that's how we get that intensity. See how intense that looks? There's a hair in my brush. All right, we're coming up on the last 10 minutes, so you better get all your questions in there now before Summer kicks me off, even though I don't have meetings for first time. I'm gonna let this dry, and then I want to kick it one more time. I love these little scritches and pops to make it feel electric, like it feel alive. Right there.
That's
Is it looking good?
I totally see in those like lighter, darker spots that really like pick up like the definition.
Yeah, that's always my goal is to I want like lightsabers are such an interesting object to kind of render into three-dimensional space. Um, you literally have a bar of light that's lit pure white in the center, and the glow is actually the color, right? So um, it's it's tough philosophically to kind of wrap your head around. Um, I try to do a couple different angles, and I choose my primary viewing angle and get that light line jetting across from emitter to tip, and then I might pick one or two other angles that also replicate that. But really the secret is no shadows and a lot of ink. Oh, so much ink. You need all the ink in the world. Just little tiny crackles. Crackle, crackles. Look at that lightsaber. Look at it. A little more red ink. Just punch one more time above that highlight line. Just to really, and then below that highlight line. Just to really kind of smooth everything out and increase that intensity. So there's like a touch of orange in the dead center, but like it's primarily red. And that's what I like. So back on Maul, we only got a few more minutes. He's very glassy and glossy. That's okay. We'll dull that down with dull coat as we progress through the miniature. Right now I want to go back with that blue-black and start cleaning up any mistakes I made. Just work around the miniature using the tip of the brush. What color are the inks so far? Orange and actually just orange and red. I've only used orange and red inks. See, I'm just going back there and redefining those raised portions. Just the tip of the brush. Let the brush do its job. The brush wants to work, wants to do what it wants to do. You're just guiding it. There is not a paint set being released alongside the core set. There's plenty of paints out there for you to get stuck in and start learning. Welcome to Shatterpoint. You're not going to mess up your miniatures. You're going to paint them. You're going to paint them the best you can at the time. You're going to learn You're going to grow. And then you might paint a better miniature later. I have so many messed up paint jobs in my past. So many. Like you can't even imagine how many times I've failed. You know, it's something I always try to teach my kid. You can't learn from winning, you know. So it's okay. You're going to get stuck in. You're going to start painting. You're going to mess them. You're not going to mess them up because you're going to have fun. And then you're going to look back one day and be like, oh man, I did the best I could on that Maul, and now look at what I can do. Look at what I can do now. Right? It's not about a race. It's not a rush. It's a hobby. And it's something that we work on and we grow and explore, hopefully together. And we push each other. You know, my favorite thing was way back in the day. I would go to my local game store and I'd be like, I had a friend that worked at the desk, right? You know, he was the desk jockey there at the local game store. And I'd come in, I'd be like, hey, he's like, what's up? Like, check out this, what I just painted. He's like, oh, whoa, that is sick. And then like, I'd leave, I'd be like, yeah, I showed him. And then the next week I come back in and he's like, hey, look at what I painted. I'm like, oh, whoa, that's sick. And then like, I'd leave and I'd be like, I gotta do better than that. Like he's and like, we should all be celebrating each other's wins and helping each other achieve our goals. And that's what we're here at Atomic Mass is all about. So hopefully you come along for the ride, because it's going to be a good one. I always like to joke, we're just getting started. We're just getting started. Look at that Maul. He's not done. So I got to paint his horns and his eyes. But I think all in all, the philosophy is there, right? You got that, you know, it takes a little time. It takes a little patience, right? A little practice. But if you do it enough and you persevere, you're going to make a really cool paint job. Ask a lot of questions, and we just keep doing it, right? We just keep trying, exploring, growing. But the idea here, right, is that for lightsabers and even the red on Lord Maul's flesh, they were the same colors, right? I used the same thing, I just intensified the crackle on the lightsaber. So you got that underlayer of off-white. I prefer warm off-white. I did the orange paint. Do you want to go to palette cam real quick, Summer? We got 1 minute, right? Are we on the palette cam? So we did this off-white. That was the base layer of the red on the skin and the lightsaber. We have this like super punchy orange. That was the next layer, right? Then on the lightsaber, we mixed those two together and we did our little crackles. We did our little hits and ticks, starting from emitter to tip. Our inks, which you can kind of see here, like that. We got red ink and orange ink. We did that over, we mixed those two together. You can see kind of the mix here. Over the top of both. Then we punched down the red on the flesh. But then we went the other way on the lightsaber. We went back to that ticks and hits and really intensified it. So using basically all the same colors, all the same stuff. We did two completely different looking reds, one for the flesh, one for the lightsaber. Trust me, we'll be doing more lightsabers in the near future. 205, I nailed it. Yo, the lightsaber. Hang on, let me see if I can. I don't have this glued in yet because it's easier to paint the face with it off. How's that look? Look at that. Yeah. Lord Maul, rise. Wait, that's not Lord Maul. So I went to 205, and then Summer made me go 206, so it's Summer's fault today. Gotcha. Remember, if you want to know all the latest news, information, and announcements coming from Atomic Mass Games about Shatterpoint or all of our wonderful games, you should check us out on Twitter and or Instagram. You know where to find those at. They're on your phone. You just go right over there to the app, click on it. You're already logged in. It remembers who you are. Look us up, Atomic Mass Games, all the latest news, information, and announcements. And then every Tuesday, every Wednesday, 1 p.m. Pacific Standard Time, we paint here on Twitch. Join us here. And then 1 week out of the month, we play games. And that's fun, too. And
there might be a surprise game stream every once in a while coming up over the next few months.
so you gave away the surprise.
Well, they'll never know what day it is.
Oh, you're just gonna drop a surprise game stream? So like you're gonna say like randomly sometimes there's gonna be 3 streams a week in a single week? Surprisingly? Surprise! That's all we got for today. Thanks for joining us. Catch you next time. Go be the heroes you want to be. Bye! Lord Maul.